Let's talk about healthy spiritual selfishness. Now, one thing that spirituality is never supposed to be is selfish. But the problem with that is that a lot of times ideas of not being selfish actually make it so that your spiritual growth never even really gets started. So, let me explain. Basically, your journey of spiritual awakening is yours alone. You don't share this journey necessarily with anybody. And nobody can really help you on a certain level. I mean, many people can help you. That's my job to help people do this. But when it comes down to it, let me rephrase that. Nobody can do it for you. Nobody can awaken for you. Nobody can tell you completely how to do it. They can give pointers. And this idea that we're going to do it all together, whether it's in the form of a religion or any other kind of concept, a cult, I would like you to think another way right now, at least just to play with it. You don't have to believe it. You don't have to subscribe to anything I say, but just kind of run it through your own personal whatever, your personal programming, and see what happens. So the thing is, what happens a lot of times with spirituality is that people develop a lot of rules around what it means to be spiritual and what it means to become more spiritual, what it means to awaken, how you should behave. And a lot of this stuff really just gets in the way. Number one, spirit is everything and nothing. Okay? It's actually nothing becoming something over and over and over infinitely. It's the essence of the creation, whether it's a big bang or whether it's an idea that seems to come from nowhere. Spirituality, spirit, is the consciousness that pervades the universe. Spirituality is something that you are immersed in no matter what you do. When Hitler was doing the Holocaust in World War II, he had a spirit, and that spirit was always there. Now, he might have been ignoring the little nudges or the big nudges that it was giving him. He might have been going completely against what spirit would have him do. But the point is, spirit is everywhere. Spirit, in my view, is in every molecule. It is in every person. Nobody, not even the most evil person, is devoid of spirit. They just have things very twisted up. So spirituality is not some other thing in some other place that you need to aspire to. Spirituality is everywhere. It is the truth of you. And within this truth, there is illusion, and there's an infinite amount of illusion, and we could say that all of creation is an illusion. It's the nothing that becomes something, and the something is the illusion, is the creation, and the nothing, which isn't really nothing, is spirit. Okay, the nothing, the preformed, the essence of everything that has not yet been put into manifestation, that's spirit. And so, in order for us to become aligned with that, to get out of the illusion, one of the first things that we have to do is come into a sense of our own personal sovereignty. And that's where I'm talking about spiritual selfishness. The first thing we have to do is come into alignment with ourselves, because this self of yours, this consciousness of yours, is your portal to the spiritual realm, to the infinity, what I'm calling the nothing, that becomes something. And that's why I say that you can't do this with anybody else. You can't rely on anybody else for your spiritual awakening. And nobody else can do it for you. So, all of these things that train us, that, for example, if you want to awaken spiritually, you need to be good. If you want to awaken spiritually, you need to not do any kind of drugs or alcohol, or you need to be a vegetarian, you need to do yoga, you need to heal your issues. Okay, I'm a healer. I'm all about healing the issues, and I think it's an important path. But none of this is required for you to be spirit, because in your essence, that's what you already are. So in order to become clear about that and aligned with that, you need to be a thing. Not a half of a thing, not a third of a thing. And what do I mean by a thing? That's what I mean by the spiritual selfishness. You need to pull your energy into your awareness, and you need to come at things from that point. That is how spirit shines through you, and that is how you become basically almost like an interdimensional portal. You become one with spirit as you exist in creation. And that's kind of what spiritual awakening is all about. It's awakening to that pure potential while in a form within creation. And on some level, that uplifts the whole creation. And it's really cool. But also very optional, because it doesn't matter. In the end, you're spirit anyway. Now, one of the things that is done a lot to kind of mess with people is this idea of a we. the we begins with your family. Like, we don't do things this way in this house. We are Catholics. We are Jewish. We are Buddhists. We are Hindus, whatever. We are vegetarians. We are meat eaters. We are a rich family, a poor family, a quiet family, a loud, boisterous family, whatever. And you are expected to conform to this we thing that we're imposing on you. So the we starts with your family, and then there's the we of your maybe religious group, ethnic group. There's the we of your nationality. And there are all these other we's that basically you, if you're going to awaken spiritually, you need to rebel a little bit and establish your own personal identity, and to whatever degree is authentic to you, you need to let go and break the rules that you were given at birth and beyond. There's always going to be somebody trying to make you compromise your truth so that they can feel more comfortable being in relationship of whatever sort with you. Like, if you were just a little bit more X, then everything would be better. Now, does this mean that I'm saying you should never listen to those people? No. Take it all under advisement, absolutely. We all need to improve in many ways, and many of those improvements that we really need to make are things that other people are very happy to tell us about. So, of course, listen to others. Of course, take it into consideration. But when it comes down to it, there are things where you need to break the pattern. I'm always inspired by gay people who come out of the closet, oftentimes to families and groups of friends who are, let's say, not very forward-thinking about things. I mean, there are a lot of people that take huge risks. They take the risk of being banished, which is arguably the deepest human fear. And actually, I better do a video about that. Remind me in the comments if I haven't made one in the next, few weeks. Banishment. So basically, your path to awakening spiritually is oftentimes blocked by your desire to conform, to belong, and to be accepted. And in order for you to wake up spiritually, you're gonna have to risk the opposite. You're gonna have to risk being banished and being rejected. And the thing is, when you do it right and you communicate openly and accurately, 90% of the time it's never as bad as you thought. But you do have to come into alignment with your own personal truth before you can awaken. Sometimes I use the analogy for spiritual awakening of the old sacrifices that people would make in different religions. You know, they would sacrifice the goat or the sheep or whatever, sometimes the human. I'm not here to advocate for any kind of animal or human sacrifice. Let me be clear. Okay, but the idea is that if you were going to sacrifice an animal to the gods, you didn't pull out the animal that is old and sick and it's going to probably die tomorrow, and then take that down to the temple and sacrifice it to the gods. The idea was that you needed to get the best animal, the young, perfect animal that is really valuable to you, that has no blemishes, that has nothing wrong with it. You need to get the best and then sacrifice it. That means something. In the land of sacrificing stuff, which, again, not my thing. Okay? But if you were going to sacrifice your ego to the gods, to spiritual awakening, same thing goes. You can't take your nasty, dirty, unevolved ego and say, here you go, take this, right? Even though spiritual awakening to a degree is about relinquishing ego, it is my belief that a lot of times what needs to happen is that ego needs to be kind of polished first before you give it up. It needs to be improved. It needs to be brought to a higher level before it can be released. Right? If you have a bunch of grudges from childhood, if you have a bunch of conformist tendencies that come out of your insecurity, then that's not really something that you're going to be able to release to enlightenment in general. Although it could totally happen, because remember, in the end, you're spirit anyway. But I'm talking about the journey. I'm not talking about the reality that in the end, you are just spirit, and you don't have to really do anything to be spirit, because that's what you are. That's what's making your heart beat right now. That's how close spirit is to you. So anyway, what I'm saying is there is a level of cutting off from the expectations of society, of your peer group, your family, your religion. And there are moments that you are going to have to face potential rejection or banishment. And in order to come into a new level of your own spiritual awakening, this level of spiritual selfishness is both necessary and good. Let me know, am I wrong? Tell me in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. Thank you.